Hey gang, I've got the Halo 4 GPS fence collar here. Today we're going to take a look at what's in the box, give it a review, see if it's worth your money. So let's start with the collar itself. Right out of the box, I was impressed by just kind of how lightweight and very, very fleet it was. Poppy is a mid-sized dog, and she's used to a very minimalist collar or sometimes no collar when we're just inside and around the house. So comfort was a priority here for me. Just because I know she doesn't like something, she is going to work to take it off.
You good?
But I noticed right out of the box, it is a lot lighter than the Halo 3, which is really nice. While it's obviously thicker than your average just off-the-rack collar, it is a lot less bulky than some of the other GPS fence collars on the market. Poppy had no problem adjusting to it, just like she has no problem napping through this video. Living in Michigan, we get hit with all kinds of weather: rain, snow, sleet, the swamp-like backyard that happens when it decides to get 60 degrees for 2 days in the middle of February. And this thing, frankly, has held up like a champ. When I got it out of the box, I was a little worried from the fabric construction about how well it would clean off, but it's held up fairly well as Poppy has put it through the paces. And I probably should have done this before making this video, but the fabric part comes off with Velcro, and then you can just throw just that part in the wash to help take care of stains, long-term damage, that sort of thing. But even without doing that, it still looks pretty nice, I would say. Battery life is solid, lasts about 30 to 36 hours on a single charge, but frankly, I've just kind of made it my habit to plug it in at the end of the night, and that gets us ready for another day. The Halo 4 uses dual-band GPS technology that promises to be reliable in most situations, but I'm going to be honest, in my testing, I found it to be a little finicky, especially in areas with rough terrain or dense foliage coverage, or even in areas with low bars. When I was first getting this thing set up, it took me several tries to just get the collar connected to my phone and actively working when I was trying to get it on the app and monitoring Poppy. And I happen to be in an area with like full 5G data coverage, so I don't know what the deal was there. Anyway, the collar updates every 4 seconds with your dog's location, provided you have decent coverage. And I can see this working really well if you take your dog a lot of places, or if you're going like on a road trip. You can easily and quickly set up a boundary for your dog to run free safely. Or if, let's say, you have not fenced in front yard like I do, you can set up a boundary, let them out, let them run free without worrying about them running into the road. Now, I should note, on their bronze tier subscription, which a subscription is required to operate this collar, you are only allowed up to 5 boundaries. So you want to keep that in mind. Maybe you have your yard and your friend's yard, keep 3 open if you're trying to travel, but just a thing to keep in mind. Now, let's talk about the training side of things, because this is where Halo brings something a little bit more unique to the table. Like many GPS dog collars, it offers different warning levels as your dog approaches or crosses a boundary. That's tones, vibration, and static. Now, just the tones were enough to get Poppy's attention, so I didn't have to move things up to the vibration or static, which is really helpful. We kept the vibration on just in case she did cross a boundary. That would probably pretty quickly turn her back. So that's pretty part and parcel for GPS collars and fence boundary systems of this type. But the Halo app also includes training videos by Cesar Millan, which I'll admit helped me feel much more confident about this system from the jump. I needed a little bit of hand-holding getting this thing set up and getting Poppy used to it especially, and the training videos were actually super helpful. Now, I'm not a fan of pointlessly complicated technology, so I was relieved to find that the Halo app is fairly intuitive out of the box. Setting up a boundary is as easy as putting a few taps on a map or walking around the exterior of your boundary with your phone in your hand. As someone who likes to just get things set up rather than sit and read through a user manual for a half an hour, I found that pretty helpful. So Poppy and I visit my parents' house fairly regularly, and while they do have a fence, she is a little Houdini who has found her way out of it on multiple occasions. So being able to save multiple zones and boundaries within the app is extremely helpful. The app is pretty smooth, reliable, it's easy to navigate, so that's a big win. Now, if this is going to be your primary fence option for your dog, a thing you're going to want to keep in mind is that the lower cost up front does hide the fact that you will need to pay for a subscription in order to use it. When I was getting it set up first out of the box, it was like, hey, now, do you get that premium plan? And I was like, oh, right, I got to pay for the premium plan. Now, they have a few different tiers, which we'll talk about, but the subscription is also really where the value lies for its heaviest users. So yes, you will need a subscription in order to operate the Halo dog collar and to unlock its full potential. Plans range from $10 to $20 a month, depending on how many boundaries you want to have and what particular features you want to use. Having seen my fair share of GPS collars, I will say this. If you're on the market for one of these, you really have two primary choices, the Halo and the Spot On. Now, after testing the Halo 4, I can confidently say that while it has some great features, it has not dethroned the Spot On as my top pick. Now, the compact design and ease of use are definite highlights, and I can see this collar being great for taking the dog on road trips, some playtime in an unfenced yard, or taking the dog to your friend's house and quick setting up a boundary there. But I will say I did run into some issues right out of the box, and perhaps I'm not the only one. So those hiccups can kind of affect how you view these types of things. Now, we will continue to update these reviews as we continue testing things. And if you want to save money on either of these collars, check the links in the description below for some exclusive discounts on both options that both save you money and support the channel, which I greatly appreciate. Thank you so much for watching, and Poppy and I will see you in the next one.